There's something profound about a love that stays untold, something quiet but deep, nestled in the corners of our hearts where words can't always find their way. It's the kind of love that doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops, but lingers in the silence between moments, in the stillness when no one's looking. It's the love we don't always show, but it's there. I think of all the times I've felt it, the love I haven't spoken aloud, the feelings tucked away because saying them seems too vulnerable, too risky. It's the kind of love that doesn't demand anything from the other person, but asks everything of you. It asks you to give without expectation, to feel without needing validation, to care for someone in ways that might never be seen, in ways that may never be known. It's funny, isn't it? How love can exist without the world knowing. We are so often caught up in showing others what we feel, in needing them to hear the words we're afraid to say. But sometimes love is just felt, in the small moments. In the way you listen to their voice, or the way you remember things about them that they might forget. In the quiet care you give without wanting anything in return. You feel it in the spaces between conversations, the ones that don't need words to carry the weight of what's unspoken. There are so many things we keep to ourselves, so many feelings that sit heavy in the heart, yet we keep them locked away, thinking that silence is safer. And maybe it is. Maybe sharing this kind of love, this unspoken truth, feels too raw, too fragile for the world to touch. So we hold it close, hidden in the folds of our hearts, afraid that if we speak it, it might lose its magic, its purity. But even when it's unsaid, that love doesn't disappear. It lingers, in the way we move through life, in the way we carry each other without even realizing it. It's there in the small sacrifices we make, in the quiet support we give without ever needing recognition. It's in the glance that lingers a little too long, in the hug that holds on a little too tight, in the shared moments of joy and sorrow that don't need explanations. Maybe it's okay for love to stay untold sometimes. Maybe it's okay for some things to remain in the quiet corners of our hearts where they are pure and untainted by the world's expectations. The truth is, love isn't always about what we say. It's about what we feel, and sometimes that feeling is enough. So if you've ever loved someone without telling them, if you've ever carried a love in silence because it felt too big for words, know this, that love is real. It's just as meaningful as any love spoken aloud. Sometimes the most profound feelings are the ones we hold closest, and maybe that's where they're meant to stay, not to be shared with anyone else, but to simply exist, quietly, in the depth of our hearts. And when the time comes, if ever it does, that the words finally find their way out, know that the love you've carried all along is just as important as the love you've shared. They're both one and the same. If you enjoyed this content, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with someone who might need to hear this, and subscribing to the channel for more. Your support means the world and helps us continue creating more meaningful content just for you. Thank you for being here.